You are live. Hello there. And how are you guys doing today? This is Michael Durr, and I'm here with Joe Salas of Purple Paint Inspections and Jane Byrd Properties International. On it today, buddy.
That's it,
And
man.
uh, so we are here. Joe is back from being a little bit under the weather, and I am so glad that Joe is back. So just for that, I get to put up your banner first. There he is down at the bottom. But anyway, we've got a lot to cover today, a lot going on over the last week or so. And anyway, Joe, talk to me. Tell these guys what's going on for you.
Every day I'm hustling. That's that song, you know.
Yep.
No, I'm back at it this week. Monday was my first day back in the office after being out pretty much a week with COVID. That was rough. That was my first bout of it, and I don't want to have a second one. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I'm fortunate and blessed. I thank the Lord for a speedy recovery with little to no medical intervention. I did have some prescriptions that were provided to me and lots of bed rest and liquids, but can't make money laying in bed. You know how it is. So I've been out back at it. Doing inspections, and I'll have another listing actually coming up here later on this week. It's going to be my dad's house in Conroe, so I'm excited for that one.
That works. All right. Listings are good. All right. Well, I am had an interesting week myself. Didn't do much over the weekend until Sunday, and then things started happening, and I just feel very fortunate myself. I put together some stuff, and I think it's going to be worthy. You guys get to be the guide of that, or be the sayers of that. So I always like to put humor up front and get the thing started off right. So the humor this week is a little realtor or mortgage guy humor. Hopefully you'll think it's funny. I don't know. I'm probably batting 0 out of 10.
I was about to say you like to attempt to put humor.
Yeah, that's right. It's an attempt. At least I've got a sense of humor. If the
Oh
people
man,
don't have a sense of humor,
I'm a dad, so I'm laughing.
We're going to talk about grants, heroes, first-time home buyers, zero-down program that we're always like to promote. This is bad news. The credit qualifying gets tougher, and I'll go through why that's happening. Buying homes inventory is the best it's been in a while, and I guess you can imagine why. And that the next one is a follow-up to that. The purchase sentiment index is down. And we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about what rates are, particularly the 30-year fixed rates. There's a lot of conversation to have about rates. Texas home sales drop, but prices keep climbing. That's an interesting one. I've got hot Houston area zip codes. These are 3 zip codes in Houston Metro that topped out with the most transactions in the United States this last month. So that was kind of cool. And then we'll talk a little bit about the lock and shop. And other than that, that's all I got today. I've got some ideas on some other things I'll talk to you later about, Joe. But let's just see this humor here. Let's see if this humor goes anywhere. Let's see. What the heck? So what this is a picture of perspectives on real estate. And this could be realtors or this could be loan officers too. And it's the first slide or the first upper left says what my friends think I do. And that's hanging out with your buddies, drinking, having a good time. And then the one to the right of it says what my mom thinks I do. And that's obviously in a busy meeting. What my customers think I do is count my money, all the money that you realtors make on daily basis. What I think I do, herd cats, which is pretty darn realistic. What society thinks I do, and this guy's obviously a used car salesman, which is not very good. And then what I really do, and the guy's sitting there over a computer worrying or fretting or stressing is probably the good thing. And now that I look at it, I guess there's not that much humor in that.
Oh, it's pretty damn funny. It's spot on.
Yeah, it is. There's a handful of those out there, but I just pulled that one up just for the heck of it because I thought it was the best one of the group. So this on my slides, it does have a header, and it says zero down home loans, and it says who qualifies. Well, if somebody's interested in doing a zero down home loan, they're available. There's a VA that if you're a vet, you can do zero down. If you live in a rural area outside of Harris County, you can do a zero down. And then there is this particular program that works for people that are school district employees, medical workers. That means if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you have anything to do with medical supplies, it's good for you. If you're a policeman or a fireman, it works for you. If you're in the military, it works for you. And if you're a public servant, it works for you. If you're a first-time home buyer, it works for you. So this is one of those programs. I like this program. I'm not a huge advocate of the zero down. I think I've talked about that before, but because of the way this one is done, I think it's one of the better ones out there. And they go by pretty much standard FHA rules. And have you ever done a zero down loan, Joe?
Yes, I have. I've been on both sides. I've been on the listing side when a buyer used the USDA loan,
Right.
down, and I've also been on the buy side where I had a client of mine use a zero down, plus there was a down payment assistance along with that. So it ended up that they got money back at
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
Crazy. See, I've always thought that these were the best loans ever until I actually went through one or two of them, and they turned out to be not the best loans out there. This one, most of them are souped up FHA loans.
Yeah.
And
Well,
go ahead.
nothing's ever free.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
So the monies that you're getting on the front side is going to be made up on the back side for sure.
That's correct. And what usually happens is the interest rates are 1.5% to 2% higher than what the going interest rates are.
Yeah.
But if that's the only way you can get in a house, it's probably a win. And particularly when rates were down, it was a big win. And what's happened for anybody in the last 3 years, if they bought on one of these programs, they will be a winner in that, just because of the home appreciation that happened over the course of that time. So anyway, if anybody has any questions about that, obviously I want you to call me. And of course, this is one slide. I should have had my phone number there, but I didn't. It's on one of the next slides. So let's just see what that is. There's the number. Credit availability drops. This is kind of an interesting one. And what you see here is a chart, and they call this the credit availability index. And they started using this back in 2011. And it's measured on the type of programs and credit scores that people are allowed to get. You can see it topped out at 185-ish on this metric over here, as this is when it was very easy to get. And then in the course of 2020, I guess that's when rates started going really down. That's June of 2020. Rates became way down. All of a sudden, it became a lot harder, substantially harder, because rates were so low. The lenders decided that they didn't have to give just everybody that wanted one a loan. And you can see it's kind of danced around a little bit for those 2 years. It stayed the same, but it's really gone to a low that it hadn't been at since 2011. And they do that. And the sheet on this talks about it decreased in since 2013. And the way they do this is they either raise the loan to value, they raise the interest rates that qualify for these particular loans. And it's not really a good thing when the general tightening of loans is done, just because it eliminates a lot of people that would like loans. But that's just one more thing in this market that people are reacting. I heard something today, Joe. Have you heard of a company called Loan Depot?
Yeah.
Okay, so Loan Depot is a big player in the mortgage industry, and they have a retail division. And the retail division, you've probably seen on Major League Baseball, they advertise, and they're one of the national, probably the only lender sponsor for Major League Baseball. They announced today that effective October, they're going out of the wholesale business. And this is consistent with a lot of other lenders that are just throwing up their hands and walking away from business that they've had for some time. Bank of America just laid off 5,000 people. Wells Fargo got the same. Rocket Mortgage showed their first loss in a long time. Uh, and the mortgage industry has not been friendly for the last probably 3 or 4 months, and it just happened really fast. Layoffs like crazy. And so anyway, just a lot of things happening, a lot of companies going out of town, are going out of business. And anyway, have you seen anything on that, Joe?
Boom and bust. I've heard scuttlebutt. I really haven't looked into it too much, Mike. I didn't know about Rocket Mortgage though.
Yeah, they're the number one originator of mortgages in the country, and they're out of Detroit, which is pretty odd. I mean, my Detroit area would have that, but they're obviously have done some good things. It's just that the number of people that you have to hire to do that kind of business, and then for it to come to a screeching halt when the rates went up, can really mess with people's profitability. So that's what's going on with that. Anyway, so a little bit harder. Bottom line, it's a little bit harder to get a loan these days. So this is another interesting one. Fannie Mae Home Purchase Sentiment Index falls. It decreased by 2 points. It's the lowest level since 2011. That's where I got that number I said when it was 13 a minute ago. And here's a couple parts to this. It says that only 17% of the respondents said it was a good time to buy. And that's not very many. Percentage of consumers who believe it is a good time to buy fell to 67%. Now, Joe, what's your cut on that?
Anytime's a good time to buy, really and truly, if you can, if it makes sense to you. The inventory's up, so you get more of a choice in the matter.
It's better than it was to buy. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I actually, I can see why people think that, because the cost to borrow is higher.
Yep.
And it may affect their top end as far as what is affordable, based on all those qualifications and the interest rate. But really, I think we're entering into a buyer's market, and in my opinion, that's the best time to buy if you're a buyer.
Well, I agree. So this is kind of what they ask these people. They say good versus bad time to sell. Percentage of respondents who say it was a good time to sell a home decreased from 68 to 67, so not too many. And it's not as good as it was in May, but it's still not a bad time to sell a home. And what you're going to see is you're going to have to wait a little longer, right? You're going to not get 15 cash offers the hour after you list the thing, but there's still a lot of people that want to buy a house right now. Home price expectations, the percentage of respondents who say home prices will go up in the next 12 months increased from 44 to 39%. And that's an interesting one, because one of the articles I've got coming up next will kind of answer that. Mortgage rate expectations, the percentage of respondents who say mortgage rates will go down in the next 12 months increased from 5 to 6%. So on that note, last week was a very interesting week. And the first part of the week, rates had gone back down into the fours. Now the fours are, let me tell you, the fours are simply better than fives. And at some point in this, we were up to 6%. I mean, I remember quoting a 6.25% interest rate not too long ago.
Yeah, that was less than a month ago.
Yeah. But for the week, up until Thursday night, you could lock people, pretty much anybody, in the fours, whether it was FHA or conventional, whatever. And then if you remember what happened, they announced on Friday last week, it was a big jobs report. You remember hearing about that?
I don't remember anything last week. I remember pillow and lots of water and Gatorade.
Yeah. So the jobs report.
I think I heard something about the jobs report. It was something contrary to what the economists were saying. They actually gained jobs, and so that started to question whether or not the recession was real or whatever.
That's right.
It was, maybe.
Yeah, and what that rocked the mortgage bond market dramatically. The jobs report came out and said that there were 528,000 new jobs created, which was twice what it was supposed to be as a forecast. That means the guys that forecast don't know what they're doing. But also the 2 months prior to that, jobs were added. And so it just made it look like, that things are great. I mean, that's not the kind of market that a recession happens into. But when that happened, and because the bond market, it had the biggest 1 day change in rates that day, and it effectively went 0.5% higher that next day, or actually on Friday, rates went up to 5.5%. So, and even this week, we're kind of trying to watch it, and it's probably come down maybe an eighth. So we're still in the 5.38, 5.375, I think is what the number is. And I've got a slide for that too. But anyway, a crazy market. We really hope that the stabilization of the rates is going to stand, because 4 sure sounds a lot better than the alternative. Here's another one. Job loss concern. The percentage of respondents who say they are not concerned about losing their job in the next 12 months remained unchanged. So that's good. People that are working feel like they're going to be able to stay there. Household income. The percentage of respondents who say their household income is significantly higher than it was 12 months ago decreased 25 to 24%. So it's 1%. So it's not much. But the bottom line is that people are wary of buying right now, when you and I believe this is a great time to buy. And my little picture of these guys is, everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody reacts differently. Some people's happy, some people sad, some people, oh my gosh. So that's
Well,
just,
you know what they say opinions are like, right, Mike?
right. Yeah,
Elbows.
we're not going to talk about that.
We'll keep it PG. Elbows. But,
That's right.
I think, as I mentioned earlier, and as I think your sentiment is, when there's increased inventory and less competition out in the market, in my opinion, it's actually a better market for buyers. There may be higher cost to play in regards to interest rates, etc., but that's manageable, in my opinion. What's not manageable is going up against 15 other offers on a house that shouldn't be priced at where it's priced at. So,
yeah, I totally agree that if I was a buyer right now, I would say I would rather be in this market than the one where you put in offers and you never know if you're going to be the one with the best offer. And I mean, it's almost a hopeless feeling. Whereas now you can go look at a house. If you like the house, you put an offer in it. Gosh, today I think that you could probably offer list price, full price, and win an offer today without any trouble. I
yeah,
may be wrong.
I actually think, depending on your realtor and them running comps, you could, in some situations, offer less than what the house is listed at. If the house has been on the market, hasn't gotten any offers, and is on the market for over 2 weeks, then guess what? It's not the location, because you can't change that.
Yep.
It may be the condition, but most likely it's overpriced. So there's tons of opportunities out there for buyers right now.
Yep, that's a fact. So yeah, I think it's a better market than what people are laying out there. So this is a snapshot, and really what I do is this slide just stays the same because I like it. But this little section right here is what the interest rates were. If you look closely on there, you can see that's August 9th, 2022, and it's the 30-year fixed rate. And I'm trying to see if this was Fannie or Freddie, but it's 5.35. And again, that's what rates are now. If you deal with a very good-looking and handsome mortgage guy like the Kingwood mortgage guy, who you guys know, you might do better than that.
Who said humor was only at the beginning, Mike? Come on, you're killing it today.
Oh boy, that's not supposed to be that funny. Come on,
it's great. I love it. I'm the same way.
All right. So 3 Houston area zip codes.
Oh yeah, this is
hottest in the U.S. This is kind of interesting.
Katy,
Texas 77494. Katy, Texas 77493, and Cypress, which is not that far from Katy, is 77433. And according to the information we got, this is not the top ones in Texas. These are the top ones in the U.S. as far as number of transactions. Is that crazy or what?
That is crazy. Is this this is only residential, right?
Residential, right?
Okay.
Let me
that is amazing. Yeah. I mean, I know there's a couple of big developments out there in the Katy or Cypress area that have been building like they don't know how to stop. But had no idea. I would have, you know what? If you would have asked me to guess, at least one of them, I would have said that the Conroe area still would have been hot, 77304 type zip code. But that's surprising.
So let me read this. It says, Open Door examined MLS data in areas where it was brokerages to determine the most homes that went under contract within 90 days during the first half of the year. Okay, so it was the first half of the year. And they found that zip code 77494, 77493, and 77433 were 3 of the top 10 areas in the country for housing transactions.
Wow.
The group the number 1 was Clarksville, Tennessee. Number 2 is Celebration, Florida, probably somewhere close to the water. I don't believe this one. Yukon, Oklahoma. New Braunfels, Texas. I believe that one.
I believe that one.
Loganville, Georgia. Leander, Texas. Katy, Texas. Forney, Texas. Katy, Texas, and Cypress, Texas. So is Texas a popular place to move? You think so, when they had 5 out of the 10 of the top. Well, maybe more than that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So
you know what? Jane Byrd Properties we just opened up our Cypress office, so maybe she was onto something.
Oh, she's growing like crazy. I mean, she's really got it going. Okay. And then this is the Lock and Shop. We like to talk about the Lock and Shop. So one of the companies, I have 2 companies that are doing Lock and Shop, both quality companies. One of them trying to kind of price themselves out of this market. So really, for all intents and purposes, it's one company. And then, of course, with the stability of the rates that are bouncing a little bit more in reasonable areas, the Lock and Shop is less popular. For those of you that are concerned about rates going up, this is a pretty good program. It does take some effort. You've got to pretty much qualify for the loan to get the Lock and Shop to work. In other words, you're going to put all your documents in to make sure that it's going to get underwritten, but they are doing it. In some cases, it saved people a lot of money. I think it was a lot more popular maybe a month ago, but it's still there. So that's it. That's all I've got today. Hopefully this was worthy, and as Joe says, you got a smile out of it. I mean, what can I say? It is.
I love it, man. It even being a part of this, Mike, I feel like I walk away every week more intelligent than I was the week prior. I just have to say thank you for putting this together. And as if I was out there in the market as a first-time homebuyer, or even a homebuyer that is, been through the process a couple times, there's tons of great information that you share, and that we come together and try to give the market as far as what we do. And I just have to say thank you for doing it. You do a great job of putting this together, and as you can see, other people appreciate it too once we start.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. I think it's good information. Of course, what we try to do is we try to help people. That's all we're trying to do.
That's the business I'm in.
And if people get any value out of this, then that just makes it all the better. So with that, no sense in making it any longer than it needs to be. The pain is getting ready to end, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday, same time, same station. Joe, hope you're feeling a lot better next week, and we'll just talk to you then. Okay, buddy?
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you. We'll see you next week.